Here's our one token crypto question from Patrick. If you were interested in investing in crypto, but wary of the coming regulations from the US and abroad, good, he's paying attention. There's a lot of regulation. What would you do? Is it still worth investing in Bitcoin and Ethereum? Or have I missed the boat? Should I look into altcoins that have much lower entry prices? Oh my Lord.
I mean, look, I'm going to say something that's going to piss off all the crypto bros, and they're going to come chase after me like they always do.
Here comes your app mentions.
Trigger warning, guys. You should turn off the stream because you're going to get mad at me.
If you got laser eyes.
You're all so dead. Like, basically, my thesis, and I've been wrong since crypto, like, I looked at it when it was like 55 cents. So at this point, I'm like 100,000x wrong. So, like, don't believe a word I say, but here's why you're dead. So, I believe that the Chinese government is going to roll out a centralized digital, they have right now, but they're going to really roll out a centralized digital coin that works just like Bitcoin. So basically you have a secret key and basically you have a public key, and you're going to be able to move money around using like the same innovations that are in the entire crypto ecosystem. But instead of being distributed, they're going to centralize it. And from a strategic perspective, it's like unbelievably powerful. Because they're going to say, hey, you know how the US dollar has all of these KYCs and regulations and you have to go through all these banks? Not if you want to basically use our coin, you can do whatever the hell you want. It's got to go through our database, though, so we get to see everything. But if you're a drug dealer and you want to move some money around, we don't care. And so then you can imagine a world where remittances and global money movement across a single managed coin that is going to hold its value and isn't going to fluctuate up and down and isn't being manipulated by a bunch of people like Tether is suddenly a superpower. And the Chinese government is in a position to basically like become the next global reserve currency because they will just, everyone will use their currency. At which point the US government slowly and stupidly will do the same thing. At which point crypto as this sort of like decentralized libertarian wet dream suddenly becomes a very, very small part of the global currency movements. So it's the old sort of Microsoft world. They're going to embrace your innovations. They're going to extend their capabilities using your innovations. And then they are going to extinguish you, the lovely crypto people.
It's the long hug. It's a long hug it's an embracing long hug. We love your innovations. And now we will, like a boa constrictor, take the life out of you. Every breath is going to be your demise. I mean, it really is a sinister plan, and I think actually probably the most likely plan. They kicked out, if you just look at their behavior, I always say, like, just look at the behavior. They kicked out all of this, all the Bitcoin mining. They made Bitcoin illegal. They're tightening everything up. They experimented with their digital yuan and digital renminbi, whatever it is. And if your premise is perfect, which is, hey, we don't care if you're funding terror. We don't care what you're doing. We just want to be the global supply. Then, oh yeah, by the way, you felt like you got your money stolen? Yeah. And you know somebody in the Chinese government? Yeah, we could reverse that transaction for you because we control it, right? Centralized and not being able to reverse things is a pretty cool feature. Unless you're a powerful person and you want it reversed and you got Xi Jinping will take your phone call now, you could flip those things. It's a really interesting point. And then I think everything goes in the United States, goes regulated. The US reserve currency comes out. And then they just say to anybody who's doing anything in crypto, either use the United States dollars, anything else is going to have a 10% tax on it. Coming in, coming out of it, selling it, trading it, whatever. They can pick whatever tax they want. They can pick whatever regulation they want, and they will strangle anonymous, decentralized money if they want to. They'll strangle it through regulation and taxation. Doesn't mean it goes away. You can still use BitTorrent. You can still, I'm sure, use any of those peer-to-peer stealing file networks, whatever. But why would you bother if you can use Spotify and Netflix and Disney and get 4K and not have to f with that? And that's really, I think, the end game here. So I'm with Zach. I mean, why bother buying this stuff? If you really love crypto and you know the code and you know the code base and you can evaluate the technology and you want to dabble in it, sure. But I don't think it's the casual thing to invest in. Live from YouTube, Hoda asks, hey, Jason, I have a question about some of the reasons you may find in due diligence that makes you avoid investing in a startup. Great question. we do serious diligence these days. I'll tell you some of the things that are very quick for us. If what the founder told us in the meetings doesn't match what we find in diligence, well, that's kind of lying or stretching the truth. We'll often have people tell us they have one amount of revenue and then it's not what we see, or it was exaggerated in some way. Then if we see accounting problems where they're doing cash-based accounting instead of accrual and they don't have good books and they don't have control over their books, that's a problem. If they have lawsuits pending and they haven't been able to resolve them, if they're major, that could be problematic. And then most of all, I think, the number one thing is we find problems on cap tables. And the problems could be they gave 50% of the company to a development shop over 4 iterations of their product for 10 to 15% each time, because it was $250K worth of work and they did it for free. And then all of a sudden you gave $1 million of your equity, which was half the company. And now you lost control of your company. Then nobody else can invest in it. Or you had 4 founders, all 4 got all 25% given to them day one. And 2 of them never worked at the company past month 1. Now you got half the cap table's dead money. So cap table problems are always problematic. You really want to have good books, great accounting, great IP assignment. Everybody signed over their assignment, great vesting, really clean cap table. Vesting means all the founders get their shares over 4 years, as opposed to just getting them day one and then somebody quits and they get all their shares for free. Those are the red flags that we see most often. What do you see, Zach?
I think you just hit all the nails. I mean, there's a lot more, there's a lot of stuff in sort of like figuring out that, there's a legit business that operates correctly, that has real customers, has real revenue, has real bank accounts, has real legal documentation, has real lawyers. It's like all the stuff that needs to be real. But yeah, I think you nailed it.
One of the things that happens is when we ask for diligence, in the cases where we don't need to do diligence, they give you a folder in 90 seconds after you email them. Hey, we're ready to go to diligence. They go, okay, here's a document library. And they just share it with us on Google Drive or Dropbox or whatever it is. And then when there's a problem, they're like, what do you want to see? And we're like, here's the list. And they're like, oh, and then we don't hear from them again. Like literally, they'll be so embarrassed that they can't even get through this list. And it's like, if you can't get through this list for a $1 million investment, what do you think the $20 million investment is going to look like? They're going to be getting up in your accounting. Everyone knows Zendesk is the go-to for customer support, but what you may not know is that Zendesk also offers a suite of sales tools, so sales teams like yours can spend more time on what really matters, having better customer conversations so they can close more deals faster. Zendesk is offering this suite of sales tools plus their industry-leading support software for free for 6 months as part of the Zendesk for Startups programs. Along with free access to all of Zendesk, you'll also get access to Zendesk community of startup founders and partners to help you better serve your customers. They'll even offer dedicated onboarding guidance and support to get you up and running in no time. Steezy Studio, one of our launch portfolio companies that sells consumer SaaS products, dance tutorials, they love Zendesk. And through the combination of Zendesk Explore and their ticket tagging system, Steezy can track which features their users are most excited about and relay that info to the product team. For Steezy, Zendesk is more than a CRM tool. It creates a positive relationship with members and empowers them to contribute to Steezy's growth in return for some awesome dance moves. You can get 6 months of Zendesk for Startups free at zendesk.com/twist. To qualify for the program, you must have under 50 employees and have raised venture funding at Series A or below and be a new Zendesk customer. So it's pretty fair. And check out Zendesk's new podcast, Sit Down, Start Up, available on all major podcasting platforms. Every customer counts when you're a startup, especially now, so start building the best customer experiences with Zendesk.